You know that complex network of machinery hidden away in your attic and your walls? Yeah, that's your HVAC, and it's pretty much the unsung hero of your home. Today, we're going to dig into what happens when that hero fails, and we're using insights from the people who see it all, every single day, an HVAC repair company. Let's decode this hidden world of your home's comfort system.
Okay, let's just jump right into a scenario that we all absolutely dread. It's 100 degrees out, the air is just thick and heavy, and then nothing. Silence. The cool air just stops. And yeah, it feels like a total disaster, but it's actually a symptom, a sign of a really complex battle being fought inside your home's walls and even under its foundation. So what is really going on?
To figure this out, we need to understand the anatomy of a breakdown. See, it's almost never just one single part failing out of the blue. It's more like a cascade, a chain reaction of interconnected problems. So let's start by just looking at the most common symptoms.
To a homeowner, this list of potential problems can seem endless, and let's be honest, a little bit intimidating. You've got warm air, strange noises, sudden leaks, a thermostat screen that's just blank. Each one feels like a totally separate crisis. It really is a puzzle with way too many pieces.
But here's the key insight, and this simplifies everything. All those different problems, the weird noises, the sky-high bills, the warm air, they can all be boiled down. Every single failure, no matter what it looks like on the surface, traces back to one of three core things: a problem with heat, a problem with airflow, or a problem with control. That's it. So, okay, if those are the core functions that fail, the next logical question is, why do they fail? Well, the answer often lies outside the machine itself. It's your home's hidden enemies, these invisible forces that are constantly working against your system.
And believe it or not, one of the biggest enemies isn't even inside your home, it's directly underneath it. In places like North Texas, the ground itself is unstable. This stuff, expansive clay soil, basically acts like a giant sponge. It swells up when it's wet and then shrinks dramatically when it gets dry.
Now, this constant movement has a huge impact. As your home's foundation shifts, it literally pulls and stretches the ductwork apart at the seams. And those little gaps create air leaks, which forces your system to work way harder and run much longer just to keep you comfortable. And that is where those mysterious high energy bills often come from. And it's what puts a massive strain on all the equipment.
And it's not just a battle underground. Your system is also fighting the climate year-round. You've got that brutal summer heat pushing it past its limits, then sudden winter freezes that stress out the heating components, and all the while, a constant barrage of dust and humidity trying to clog up the works.
And finally, sometimes the enemy is the house itself. A lot of older homes were built with ductwork that was just too small for the space, basically choking the airflow and straining the system from day one. And even in newer homes, you see problems, often with builder-grade equipment that was picked because it was cheap, not because it could handle a brutal climate.
Okay, so we know what fails and why it fails. So now let's look at the how, the methodical, systematic approach that a trained professional uses to untangle this whole mess and get things back to normal.
A real professional doesn't just show up and start swapping parts. They follow a playbook. It starts with being prepared, sure, but the most critical step is the diagnosis, finding the root cause, not just slapping a Band-Aid on a symptom, and then giving you clear options and pricing. And hey, the job isn't really done until they've tested it by running the system through a full cycle. They have to prove the fix is going to hold up.
And you know, this process isn't just guesswork. It's all governed by a set of really strict, non-negotiable standards. The EPA dictates how refrigerants are handled to protect the environment. The National Electrical Code makes sure all the wiring is safe, and codes like ACCA Manual D are used to scientifically calculate the exact ductwork size your home needs. This is about engineering, not estimation.
Sooner or later, after enough repairs, every single homeowner gets to a crossroads, and it's one of the biggest financial decisions you'll make for your home. Do you keep fixing the old system, or is it finally time to invest in a new one? Making that call really involves a clear-eyed assessment. A repair totally makes sense for younger systems with minor issues. But once that system starts breaking down over and over, or a huge component like the compressor fails, you really have to ask yourself if the cost of another repair is just a down payment on a replacement you know is coming.
And the foundation of this entire decision has to be trust. A good technician's goal is to diagnose the actual problem and give you honest options, not to just push you toward whatever's most expensive. An affordable repair should always be on the table if it's a real viable option.
Okay, in our final section, let's look at how all this knowledge can empower you.
Because understanding these forces is the absolute first step in shifting from just reacting to crises to actively preventing them from ever happening.
And here's why that shift is so incredibly important. We're not just talking about comfort anymore. We're talking about your wallet. Look at this number. Your HVAC system can be responsible for almost half of your home's entire energy bill. So taking control of it means taking control of a huge monthly expense.
And the good news is you have the power to do it. The source material lays out a simple, actionable checklist. Yeah, regular professional service is key, but so are the little things you can do yourself. Changing those filters, keeping the outdoor unit clear of leaves and junk, and just listening for signs of trouble before they get bigger.
This really reframes the whole conversation, doesn't it? Scheduling a tune-up isn't just another chore or an expense. It's an investment. You're investing in lower energy bills, a longer life for one of your most expensive appliances, and the peace of mind that comes from knowing you're not going to be caught by surprise on that hottest day of the year.
So after all of this, the question really becomes, what is your home trying to tell you? That faint rattle you hear sometimes, the one room that's always a little too warm, that energy bill that keeps creeping up, these aren't mysteries anymore. They're signals, and now you know how to read them.